Okay, this is Lab 5, Configuring Advanced File Solutions. We're going to be working with the domain controller, Server 1 and Server 2, which I still have running from the previous lab. We're going to create an NFS shared folder, install and configure a branch cache, configure file classification using FSRM, enable and configure file access auditing, and create an NFS shared folder on a cluster. The approximate lab time is 110 minutes. So we are going to log into Server 01 as Contoso administrator. If you are continuing this from the previous video, we are already logged into Server 1 as the administrator. Actually, mine timed out, so I have to log back in anyway. So we're going to go ahead and type in password. And we're going to go into Server Manager. Click on Manage, add roles. Next. Next. I'm going to select Server 01 and next. We're going to expand the file and storage services, and then expand file and SCSI services. And we are going to select Server for NFS. Add features. And then next. And we want to select client for NFS. And then next. And then install. I'm going to pause the video and we will resume as soon as this is completed installing. Alright, now we'll go ahead and click on close. Again, we are still on Server 01. We're going to click on Tools, and then Services for Network File Systems. Right here. And then we're going to right-click Services for NFS. So right-click, go down to Properties, and then we're going to select Active Directory domain name and type in contoso.com. And then we're going to go ahead and click on OK. And I'm going to close out of this, and go into our little yellow folder for File Explorer. and double click the C drive. We're going to create a C:/data folder. So right click, new folder. And not sure why it's not letting us add. You know what, I'm going to reboot and we're going to pick this video back up. We're going to just add that folder right here. Okay, so I've rebooted and I've reopened up my Windows Explorer and I'm back into my C drive. So we are going to go in and do a new and then a folder. And we're going to call this data and then enter and then right click, properties. And we're going to click on the NFS sharing tab, just right here, and we're going to do manage NFS sharing. And we want to select share this folder, so we're going to check this box. And we're going to click on permissions. And then we'll go ahead and click on OK. And then OK again. And then close. And we'll go ahead and close File Explorer. And that is the end of that exercise. The next exercise is to install and configure the branch cache. So we're going to install and configure the branch cache so we can be used with websites and other file shares. So we are on server 01. We're in the server manager. We're going to go ahead and click on manage and add roles and features. Click on next. Next. Click on server 1. And next. And we're going to click on file. We're going to expand this node and expand this node. And select the box for branch cache for network files. And then next, we're going to select branch cache. And next, and then install. So I'm going to minimize this while I wait for this to install. And the next step is going to be to log into the domain controller as the administrator. Now it's been a little while since I've logged on to the domain controller, but it looks like it's still going okay. So I'm going to go ahead, and make sure, as I'm going through this, you'll see it over here to the right. I forgot to go over this. It's Windows Server 2012 R2, and I installed the standard. So if you have a different edition, some of your screens might be a little bit different, not much. Okay, so I'm going to right click. Actually, I don't need to right click. I just need to left click on the Server Manager. And then go into Tools. And then Active Directory Users and Computers. And now I'm going to right click contoso.com and choose New Organizational Unit. And I'm going to put in servers. Click OK. And we're going to close Active Directory Users and Computers. Go back into Tools, Group Policy Management, and then we're going to right click Servers OU, right here. So we're going to right click and create a GPO in this domain and link it here. Okay, in the name we're going to type in branch cache for servers in the name text box. And we're going to go ahead and click on OK. And then we're going to expand the server's organizational unit. And right click the branch cache that we just created. And edit. Okay, now we're going to expand computer configurations, policy administrator template, network, and then landman server. We're going to double click hash publication for branch cache. It's going to bring us up a dialog box. We're going to click on enable and allow hash options. Allow hash publications for all shared folders. From here, we're going to go ahead and do OK. And then close the Group Policy Management Editor. And we're going to close this just to get it out of the way. Go back into our File Explorer. Create a folder named Shared Folder. So I'm going to click on my C drive. Enter. Now we are going to right click and go into Properties. Click on the Sharing tab. Click on Advanced Sharing. Share this folder. And then we'll go ahead and click on OK. And close. And close out of File Explorer. Crap, that should have been on server 1. Damn it. Let's back up for a minute. Delete that. Empty my recycle bin. Close out of that. And we need to go back to server 01. And this is finished, so I can go ahead and click on close. Close out of this. Open up File Explorer. See. Right click. Properties. Oops. Right click. New. Folder. Shared folder. Enter. Right click Properties. Sharing. Advanced sharing. Share this folder. Then OK. Close. Close. Now we're going to go back to Server Manager, again on server 1. I'm going to minimize the domain controller, get it out of the way. Tools and Computer Management. We're going to go into System Tools when it comes up. Alright, so here's our System Tools. We want to expand Shared Folders and then click Shares. We're going to right-click the shared folder and go into Properties. And we're going to click on Offline Settings. And then select Ensure that only files and programs that users specify are available offline. And then we're going to enable branch cache, and then OK, and then OK again. And we're going to close out of Computer Management. Now we're going to flip over to the domain controller. And we want to go into Group Policy Management. And I could have done this through the Server Manager, but I want to show you an alternate way to do it. It takes us to the same exact place. And I'm just expanding the size of these boxes a little bit so it's a little bit easier to see. So we're going to expand the group policy objects, which is right here, and then right click default domain policy and select edit. We're going to go into computer configuration, and expand policies, expand administrative templates, and expand network. And we are going to click on branch cache and double click set branch cache distributed cache mode. So we're going to double click this line right here to bring this up. Now we have a dialog box, and we are going to select enabled and then click on OK to set it. And then we're going to close the editor and close the group policy management. That is the end of that exercise. The next exercise, we're going to go into using file classification. To do that, we're going to use File Server Resource Manager to classify files in a folder. So we are on server, we're going to go to server 1. I'm going to open up File Explorer, this little yellow folder right here. Click on our C drive and open up the shared folder. And we're going to right click and new, rich text document, and we're going to name it DOC1. Enter. Then we're going to go ahead and close Windows Explorer. And going into the Server Manager, we're going to click on Manage, Add Roles and Features, and Next, Next, Server 01, Next, and we're going to expand File and Storage Services, expand File and SCSI Services, and select File Server Resource Manager. Add features, next, next, install. This is a relatively quick install, so I'll leave the video run. Once it's done, we're going to go ahead and click on close. Actually, I'm going to pause the video and then we'll resume it as soon as it completes. Okay, so from here we're going to go ahead and click on close, tools, File Server Resource Manager, and then we're going to go into classification. We're going to expand this, and click it. We're going to go ahead and click on the classification properties, right click, create local property, we're going to type in file class, select yes, no, and then click on OK. Now we're going to click on the classification rules, right click, create classification rule, and we're going to type in class rule, click on scope, and click the add button, and navigate to the shared folder. Just right here. We're going to click on OK, then click on the classification tab. We're going to select folder classifier. Under property, it's already file class, and yes, it's already selected. We're going to click on evaluation type. Okay, under the evaluation type tab, we're going to click on the reevaluate existing property values. This should already be selected. And we're going to go ahead and click on OK. And then in the File Server Resource Manager, under Actions, we're going to run classifications with all rules now. It's right here. And then wait for classifications to complete. And then OK. And we are not going to use recommended settings. And then OK. And we see that the file is now classified. Okay. So now we're going to close and close the Resource Manager and close the Server Manager, and that is the end of that exercise. This next exercise is configuring file access auditing. So we're going to use a group policy to enable file object auditing and then enable auditing in a folder. So we're going to go to the domain controller, minimize this, go into the domain controller, and I'm going to pause for just a moment. Okay, on the domain controller, we're going to go ahead and open up our Server Manager and click on Tools and Group Policy Management. And we are going to expand the domain controllers and then right-click Default Domain Controller Default Policy. Right-click and edit. Now we're going to expand computer configuration, expand policies, expand Windows settings, security settings, an advanced audit policy configuration, down here, and then we're going to expand audit policies, and then click Auto Policies. Okay, and then we're going to click on Object Access. And double click Audit File System. So right here, we're going to double click this line right here, Audit File System, double click it. And we're going to select Configure the following audit events. And we're going to select both success and failure. And then click on OK. And then close the editor, close policy management. And I'm going to close out of Server Manager, and at this point we're going to flip over to Server 1. Okay, I'm on Server 1. Open up File Explorer and go to the shared folder, which so I'm going to double click here. Here is the shared folder. And we are going to right click, Properties, Security, and click on Advanced. And then select the Auditing tab. We are going to add an auditing entry, so we're going to click on Add. And we're going to select the principal. And we're going to type in domain users. I did check name just to be sure. And then we're going to do OK. And then for type, we're going to do all. And then for permissions, we're going to do full control. And then click on OK. Here we're going to replace all child object entries, auditing entries with inheritable auditing entries from this object. I'm just going to check that box right here. Then we're going to go ahead and click on OK. And then click on OK again. And then we're going to open up a command prompt. And type in GP update space / force. Okay, we'll go ahead and close out of that. Again, we're still on Server 1. And go back to the shared folder. Right click Doc 1 and delete. Okay, now we're going to go to Server Manager. Tools, Event Viewer, and expand the Windows logs. And then click Security. And we want to find the entry that shows that someone tried to delete a file or action that involved the recycle bin. May not come up because we deleted it using our administrator account for Contoso. Alright, so that's how you're going to look at it. So we're just going to go ahead and close out of the event viewer. And that is the end of this exercise and lab 5.